Alright guys, welcome to the Shade build, the Shade Ranger. Basically this build focuses on critical damage and critical hit and critical attack rate, and that's all this build is. So there's no attack speed involved or anything, it's just pure damage and high crits. Most people like that, right? 99% of the people playing Ranger in endgame like that and are playing this build, so we're gonna go over this. It's the most standard build out there, but let's go through the Zodiacs first and foremost. So we're going to start here, and we're just gonna go attack damage. Just go attack damage. We go over to the second one, we go even more damage. We go over to the third one, we go even more damage. We go over to the fourth one, even more damage. And when we get there, we get into the Shade 3. We're gonna go guaranteed critical hit against enemies at full HP. That is what makes this build, which is self-explanatory. And when we go to the movement skill rune max use, we also have more movement speed skill to use, which is very good actually. And we go into here and we get more damage, more damage. And then we're going to open up here, and over here we go more crit. So basically what you want is as much critical damage and critical attack rating from the 3 as possible from the Zodiac. And if you cannot get any more, you just get more damage. And get this damage against elites by 25%. It is very good because you're gonna need it for the single target. And when you have those, you're gonna go into here as well, which gives you even more crit and more movement speed. This one, attack speed, call speed, movement speed, and then we go into sharpness, gives you more crit and critical damage. And over here, we are going the same in the 3-1. It's more attack critical rate, more attack critical damage. And over here, we do the same. Basically, all crit damage, crit rate. That's all we do, and as much movement speed as we can as well. And yeah, it's basically very easy Zodiacs, and that's it. You should also pump in as much as you can into dexterity. I have 126 strength because I have gloves that requires it, but if you don't, just go pump all into dexterity, because this one is going to give you a lot of crit rate. You get 4% attack critical rate for every 40 dex, which is a lot in the end, so I definitely recommend going all dex with this. Skill runes. So for skill runes, we're using Spread Shot and Rapid Shot. We are also using Marksman, we are using Shadow of Provocation and Enduring Pain. These 3 are just buffs that gives you small duration buffs between 3 and 5 seconds with more damage. And this is my main spender, aka the Spread Shot, so it's the mass AoE attack that I do, and Rapid Shot we're using for single target. As for skill links, we are using anything that gives us more damage, so additional physical damage. We're giving projectile deceleration, which gives us more amplified damage. We're using this as well with the critical damage, since we're using a critical damage build. This is very good for you. You don't need it per se, but it's additionally more critical damage, right? So it makes sense for the build. You can actually switch this out for attack speed if you want. It's also equally good. It doesn't show it's as good, but it is the same, about the same, depending on if we level this a bit more. This might be even better than this, but right now that is better because it's higher level and so on. But I do recommend getting this instead of attack speed for sure, and also the critical rate rune. So I don't have it, but you should probably get it with this build and replace something with it. Probably replace the deceleration right here and just go with critical rate and critical damage. I don't like to do that because I'm stubborn and I like attack speed. That is why I don't even go with this, and I actually play with attack speed. But you should not. You should not. The build is better without the attack speed and just critical damage and critical rate runes, and the rest is just to your liking. So you should go multi-shot, you should go damage. It's very simple, very simple. Alright, as for gear, you of course want as much critical damage and critical rate as possible. I do not have specified gear for this, so my gear is not the best for this build, and this build is way better if you actually invest in your gear with it. So you should try to roll, like you can see here, my ring doesn't even have any crit at all. This one does critical damage, that's what you want. So you want to have critical damage and critical rate on your rings and also on your neck. especially on your quivers, on your weapons, basically. So your weapons, your weapon, your quiver, and your accessory should be full with critical rate, critical damage, and that's it. And the rest of the gear should just have HP and resists, basically like this, as you can see here. Resist, resist, XP, like it's very simple. And for the boots, I recommend always having boots with at least 25% movement speed. You are going to have a such much better time if you go with 25% or more movement speed. If you have less, it's gonna be sluggish, it's gonna feel slow. So I even recommend these Gale Claws. They have basically no stats, it's just even more movement speed. So basically what happens on normal rare, they cap out at 30% movement speed, I think, if it's even 28%, but these can go up to 40%, so between 33 and 40% or something, let's see, 34 to 40% even, which is a lot. Basically, the difference from 25 to 40% feels like it's the double. Like, it's not double, but it feels like it is double movement speed. That's how huge it is, and it's so good. So movement speed, you should always go movement speed, critical damage, and critical attack, and you're going to be dandy. Basically, that is the whole build, and it's very simple. Thank you for watching this build guide video for the endgame shade build, and yeah, it's very straightforward. I hope you enjoy it. Watch this map that I do in about 3 minutes. It's a great build and a fun build if you like doing big hits, which most people do, and I don't blame you. So enjoy the build and have a good one. GG!